Hello, all you beautiful people. This is Optimistically Depressed, and I am your host, Ruth McMullen. Thank you for joining me. I hope all of you are doing well. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not doing that great. Things have kind of snuck up on me, and I'm finding it increasingly difficult to accomplish even simple tasks. I'm having to talk myself through pretty much everything. So like I'll be making porridge for the kids and I'm thinking, okay, Ruth, it's okay. Just put 1 cup of water in the pot and wait for it to boil. That's all you have to do right now. Just do that and it's okay. And then I'm talking myself through each step of making the porridge. And it's tiring. I'm very tired. And I'm finding that I'm going back to bed. And then getting back out of bed is very difficult. It's, I have the kids home, so they provide a reason for me to get out of bed, one that's pretty difficult to not acknowledge. So I guess in a way, and so that would be a good thing. It gets me out of bed. It does eventually get me back out of bed. I think I need to get my medication adjusted, because this has been gradually getting worse, and it always sneaks up on you. It always sneaks up on you until finally you're like, oh, this isn't good. This is really not good. So that's where I'm at. I thought that maybe this week would be a bit more difficult just because it was the anniversary of my grandmother's death was yesterday. Surprisingly, yesterday wasn't too bad though, but I did have kind of a more relaxing day. I don't know. I know that I have to get my medication adjusted. That's what's going to have to happen because this has been going on for weeks. So we need to take care of this. That's what's going on for me. I did actually get together for lunch with Angela though yesterday, and it was really, really nice. We had fish and chips. Angela is my sponsor and I love her. She makes Simple Rituals skincare, and it's just a great product. Check it out, simplerituals.ca. And let me think here. See, another one of the things that kind of comes along with this, like not doing so great, is my memory is not great. I didn't even remember to write a list of what I'm wanting to talk about. That's how this goes. So please bear with me. But, one of the things though that does help me out though is if you can subscribe to this podcast, that would be really great. It helps me basically know how many listeners I have, and it makes it so that it's more easy for Optimistically Depressed to be found on listening platforms. So please subscribe, rate, review. All of those really, really help me out. And if you want to be on Optimistically Depressed, I love hearing your stories. So you can send me an email at optimisticallydepressed86@gmail.com, or you can send me a message on Instagram. You can find me at Optimistically Depressed, or you can go to my website, optimisticallydepressed.com, and contact me through that. So, you can contact me on Facebook, Twitter, all those things work. So, I would love to hear from you, and we can adjust it or come up with a time to get together and get to know each other a bit. And then, you can come on the podcast because I love hearing your story. So I got to interview Graeme last week, and he makes me happy. He is a sweetheart. So we talked a bit about we talked a bit about everything. It kind of just was a natural conversation, and he's just like one of those like really kind and understanding people, and you feel like very safe when you're talking with him, like it's just a really great conversation that we had. I've known him for a little while now through the Halifax social network, and he's He's a little sweetie. What can I say? I love Graeme. So I think that you're going to like this podcast. I think you're going to like this interview that I had with him. So I'll let you have a listen then. Enjoy. I love all of you. Here is Graeme. Are you going to have more wine after that?
Probably not where I'm driving.
Good.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
Yeah,
where I'm
maybe
driving
not.
and it's terrible out. I was like, well, it's kind of dangerous,
kind of dangerous to
being
drink
all
and
rainy
drive on a rainy
I
day.
mean, it could be a new game, you know. No, just kidding. Don't do that. I don't support that. It's funny. I was actually thinking about that earlier. Like, have you ever had an interest in like playing some form of a game that's in a controlled circumstance where you just get like, and you can't hurt anybody, you're on like a closed track, but just get absolutely blitzed and see if you can drive a car just to see. Have you ever had that thought? I know.
I've totally had that thought. Yeah,
like
you're not alone.
You're in like a controlled circumstance where they can like
totally
stop
fine.
the car or something else.
Yeah.
You're not going to hurt anybody.
No one will be hurt.
But just see just how bad you are when you try and do it.
Yeah.
I've definitely tried that. Or, well, no, not tried.
I've definitely
not tried. Definitely tried it. 100%.
100%.
No.
Yeah. I've wondered about the same thing. Yeah. You probably don't want that on the podcast, or do you?
Doesn't matter to me. Comedic relief, you know? No, I don't know. It is what it is. If it goes in, it goes in.
If it goes in, it goes in. You're okay with that?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Okay.
Hi, Graeme.
Hello, Ruth. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. As I said, nervous, but
you're
get through
really
it.
good.
Yeah.
We're maintaining really good eye contact right now. Wow.
It's a staring contest.
It's a staring contest.
An hour-long
except
staring
for I blinked.
contest.
An hour-long staring contest. Let's see if we can maintain eye contact for the entire hour. It's going to be tricky.
Just have to stare. It is hard.
Because I find that when I'm thinking, I usually look off to the side.
I do at times as well. But at times I've also had people say that they're kind of like, I keep like eye contact with people. Like some people are comfortable with it and they're like, wow, you keep really good eye contact. And other people are like, stop.
Why are you looking at me?
Why are you staring at me
Can
so
you
much?
see something within my soul?
I'm just interested.
Just interested. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I get the same thing from people because I like to look into the eyes when I'm talking.
Absolutely.
And they get, some people, they just totally, they get freaked out.
Totally get. And then you just kind of like, to make them feel comfortable, you
start like looking around like, oh yeah.
To the side and it's just like very obvious that you're trying to do it.
Yeah. It's like you're doing a deep stare into their eyes and then you deeply stare at an object that's next to them just so that they don't feel uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But it doesn't freak me out, so
we're set then.
Go nuts.
It's just a game now to see who can keep better eye contact.
Yep. I am staring right into your soul, though. I can see the thoughts in your brain.
I can see. Well, I'm not quite that talented, but
you'll get there, my friend.
Eventually.
I can be your sensei.
Ooh, that's exciting.
I've always wanted to be a sensei.
Just so you can say.
Just so I can say. Yeah. So I can hear somebody else say to me, yes, sensei.
Yeah. Put on your own, like, just personal resume for yourself. Just
yes.
be like, I'm this.
I am this.
I'm a sensei.
I am a sensei.
Epic.
Yeah. It's going to feel great. I already feel so much better now.
Tangents. I love it. It's awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah. So how do we start?
Oh, you just dive right in. Tell me your
talking?
deepest, darkest secret right now.
Darkest secret. God, anxiety doesn't let you do that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, but that would probably be one of the biggest ones for me is over time coming to realize that I am anxious and kind of, for the longest time, I guess I kept telling myself, I was like, no, I'm not anxious. I'm not like what I had in the stereotype in my head, like what everybody has of like your typical anxious kid, whoever it may be, that just kind of the socially anxious person, I guess, that can't really talk to people, kind of freaks out about little things. So for the longest time, I didn't acknowledge it, and I would tell myself, it's like, that's not me. I don't show any of those symptoms until probably 2 or 3 years ago now. after my first full year of university, I started kind of realizing and get like not full panic attacks, but like sitting in like lecture and having to be like, okay, I need to leave now. I can't focus, the short breathing and everything else. And then that's when I kind of fully realized that, yeah, I have this.
It's a thing.
I definitely have anxiety. And
Okay.
it was finding the different ways for me to go and deal with it or not deal, but cope with it and manage it, I guess, on a day-to-day basis and actually consciously think about it all the time
Yeah.
as opposed to just like, oh, I don't know what that feeling is. Let's brush that off and just keep going on and then just kind of let it build up over time.
That statement right there was so insightful.
Yeah.
That was so good. Okay, I'm sorry. We can
No.
go back to it in a second.
Yeah,
I'll let you finish your thought.
absolutely. That's mostly it, I guess, is just kind of when I fully made that realization that like this is something that I need to deal with. And I do have it because for the longest time, I think I kind of tried to avoid labeling it as anxiety or whatever it may be to not take that significance away from the people who like have really bad cases of anxiety. Because
Right.
where it's like, I don't know, I guess in a lot of people's minds, it's like, unless you're severely anxious or like severely depressed or whatever it may be, like, could be worse. You know what I mean? Like, there's not really that gravity to it
Right.
for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I guess for the longest time, I just didn't want to take that away from them by labeling myself that because I really dislike when people, I guess the most common one that I can think of is OCD, where a lot of
Yeah.
people are like, oh, this is my OCD acting up. This is my OCD acting up. And, you know, they don't actually have that. They're just kind of like grabbing onto that just to, because they can and it's there. So
Yeah.
I don't like when people kind of, I guess, take advantage of it in a way.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely had felt the same. Like I was afraid of being one of those people that was abusing the sickness. Like,
Absolutely.
like taking something that's actually serious and applying it to my not serious situation just to get the sympathy.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then I realized that it was actually a lot more serious than I thought.
Yeah, what you do. Absolutely. Once you start thinking about it and you become more conscious about it. Because before I'd say 2 or 3 years ago, I don't know that it's necessarily gotten worse over the last 2 or 3 years, or I've just become more conscious about it. And it's that I think about it more often and like, ooh, how am I feeling right now? Or how is this making me feel? Like when I talked about coming on here and we had first talked about it, I was like, this makes me anxious, so I feel like I should do it. Yeah.
That was awesome.
Because it's just like your first reaction, especially in my case with anxiety, is like, oh no, I don't want to do that. But pretty much every time that happens and I do it, it's a good choice. And I really enjoy doing it.
That's awesome.
But it's incredibly hard to get yourself to retrain your brain, or not even so much retrain, I guess, question it. When your initial thought is just like, boom, no, I don't want to do that. Let's go back and think like, well, maybe I actually do. And maybe I'll get something good out of this. But I'm still not there yet. And that's a big work in progress for sure.
Right.
And that's much easier said than done for sure.
I have so much respect for the fact that you have realized this so early on.
Well,
like I don't know,
yeah.
like compared to me anyway, like
yeah, certain.
it took me a long time to be like, oh, I should have. First of all, to go back to the thing that you said about what's that feeling? Oh, I don't want to have anything to do with that. So you push it off to the side. That was something that I did a lot more than I even realized because it was such a gut reaction, like to all of those negative, what I would call negative feelings.
Yeah.
And so I would just want to ignore them. And then that's when they get worse. Like, and then that's when they start coming out in other ways and it makes you behave in ways that you are later embarrassed about because you're just ignoring the feelings when you have them. I don't know. I didn't start realizing that until like just a few years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was listening to another podcast, and one thing that it's one of the few times, well, that's not true, but one of the times that I've been like truly rocked by something that somebody said on a podcast was one of the hosts said, listen to your body whisper so you don't have to hear it scream.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's just like you listen to the little things building up as you go along and try and deal with them as they're coming along and coming to a head, as opposed to just like I had used to when I was still getting mild panic attacks and everything else, just kind of shoving it down. You can only do that for so long before it just comes out in the open.
Yes.
And you don't have a choice. It's coming out whether you like it or not. The monster's coming out.
The monster's coming out. Doesn't matter if you're in the appropriate situation for that or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, sheesh, I've had that happen.
Everybody has.
Oh,
everybody's been there and everybody's done that.
I certainly hope so.
Oh, they have. They have. Anybody who says they hasn't is lying. Haven't. Anyways.
Whatever.
One of them.
One of those. Yeah. One of those will do.
But, yeah.
Yeah. So then when did you, like, how long ago did you start having panic attacks? Like, when did that start?
I guess I would have been in my either second semester of university, so 3.5 years ago.
3.5 years ago.
It would have been.
Okay.
Basically just sitting in lecture and just not able to think. You get the feeling like there's weight on your chest. Like you just can't. No matter how deep you're trying to breathe, you just can't get a full breath, even though you know you are.
Yeah.
And your brain's just racing a million miles a minute. And you get like clammy hands, and you just, I don't know. It's just, it's hard to deal with. So when you're sitting in class and it's a combination of you're sitting there with all your other friends and you're just like getting up to leave in the middle of class, and they're like, well, where the hell are you going? And you're like, I don't know. I have to go anywhere but here.
Yeah.
And luckily enough, going through SMU, what I would usually do is I would just ditch and go to Point Pleasant Park. If it was nice out, I would just walk and go straight down there. That was immediately where I went. Because outdoors has been a huge part of what's helped me through that. Because I guess when I first started realizing that I had it, I used to go for drives all the time. Because that's relaxing for me. A lot of people don't find that the same way. They're like, what? Driving is relaxing? What do you mean? I get so worked up. Like, no, quite the opposite for me, actually. I find it incredibly relaxing.
Even city driving?
Like at times, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. At times. Like, not bumper-to-bumper traffic. Bumper-to-bumper traffic, it's just not fun.
Right.
But if it's not super busy around, yeah, definitely. I'll just go for a lap around places if I'm killing time and need to calm down a bit. Because anxiety. Woo! Yeah. So I used to drive down to a place, or down by Peggy's Cove, the Swiss Air Memorial, and I would just sit there for a long time and just think, watch the ocean, because that was the one place where the anxiety was kind of under control for a little while. Like that clarity came back, and I could actually think without my mind zipping around from place to place to place to place.
Yeah.
And you could just kind of focus on one thought and kind of work your way through that.
Focus on one thought and work your way through it.
Yeah.
I like that.
As opposed to all the other times when it's just every time you think you get going on another thought, your brain snaps to something else.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I feel like that's parenthood.
I can only imagine that it is.
Yeah, it gets. I'm still.
Hard.
Oh my goodness! Like to go on a slight tangent.
Of course.
I
love tangents.
Awesome. Okay. So, but it kind of, but also slightly related. But I find that I've been doing so much work on trying to be like, just trying to pay attention to how I'm feeling and allowing it to happen, because that's what helps me sort through. Like, I think that's pretty normal for anyone. Like, if you're paying attention to how you're feeling and just allowing the feel, like riding the wave, then it really helps you kind of get your head in the right place, and then you can be really productive again. You can turn your mood around. It's really effective. It's just...
Absolutely.
And I find that, like, I've been doing so much work on trying to do that. And then when I'm in the middle of chaos, which is like when all of this is supposed to, like, all these practices are supposed to, like, be the most useful, it all goes to crap.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely. I'm
and
the same way.
oh my gosh. And it's like I got 3 kids, right? So,
Yeah.
and like when they're all yelling
Yeah, there's
and they're all wanting something from me and I'm trying to do one thing, it's like my head explodes.
as it would. That's just unfair. That's an unfair, like, you just set yourself up for failure in that side. Well,
right.
either failure, but failure is a good thing too, though, because it really lets you test the boundary. But at the same time, that's kind of like the ultimate test, having 3 kids screaming at you, all wanting different things, trying to pull you in each direction.
Yeah, and sometimes actually physically pulling on me.
Oh, I believe it. And pulling on, one's got your back, another one has your arm, and they're trying to pull all of you in their own direction.
Yes. Yes. It happened to me tonight.
I believe it.
I was taking the boys out. It was just with 2 of the kids. No, it happened with all 3 of the kids.
Yeah.
I was trying to take the boys up to bed, like get them ready for bed. They were both clinging to each legs. And then as I was walking past my daughter, she grabbed onto my torso. And it was just like, ah!
What do I do now? Yeah.
It's like some kind of torture technique.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. And and then you're just trying to keep your cool and then assess the situation, see what needs to be addressed first, see what you need to just do. Sometimes you have to ignore it all and be like, no, I'm doing this.
Absolutely.
And it feels like I fail 98% of the time. Like it seems that way. I don't know. Sometimes it depends on, I guess, the mindset that I'm into.
Yeah, fair enough.
But
I also feel like a lot of people, most people in the little things like that they're trying to do, they fail 99% of the time as well.
So I'm not doing so bad.
No, not at all. Working forward.
Yeah.
But no, that's a hard thing because I have the same thing where like you try and be compassionate and like when you see somebody out in the middle of nowhere, like out in a mall or something, and they're just getting really angry, like trying to question like what has brought them to the point of being that angry, because it's not the last item being sold out at a store that is making them lose their mind at a cashier.
Right.
It's not, that's not where the anger is coming from. So trying to think that way and question that. But then when I go and say in the previous summers when I've been working, like I was working outside in labor jobs, it's really hot. All of that thought process is just out the window. I'm just like, nope, you're an asshole. I'm done with this. I don't have time for this. But then other times I'm like, oh, like how are you doing? Like what got you to this point? But then, so you work so hard other times. And then other times you just like, nope, not today.
Not today. Yeah. Oh my goodness. And it's just so funny. Like it's funny because I've always viewed life as like this linear path, like where I go up, there's improvement and then that's it. But like, of course it doesn't work that way.
No, absolutely not.
It's a sphere.
Yeah.
And you're kind of just end up at any point on it. And which way's up anymore, I don't even know.
Yeah. And absolutely, because I'm seeing the same thing right now in particular. Well, over the last few months. So in the first semester, I was in school, full course load, studying all the time. And when I'm really busy and I can make like lists or goals that I need to do for the day, I find that that's a way that I can really keep my anxiety kind of at bay.
Okay.
And so I was really, right now, I'm out on a work term, just working Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, just a typical job. And it's less time to put in than when I'm in school. Because when I'm in school, you're in class all day, and then you go home and you study most of the night being in engineering.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, awesome. Next semester, like in the fall, I was like, yeah, winter, it's going to be awesome. Not going to be stress-free. Anxiety's going to be at bay. Little do I know that's not the case in the slightest. My brain just had a little trick on me, and it was like, nope, not today. So now that I'm out at work and I find myself a lot of the time not having necessarily enough to do at work. So I'm kind of having a lot of time where I'm just sitting there pretty bored, not really doing a whole lot. Like then your brain just starts firing, and then you get into a loophole of thinking, and then the anxiety starts, and then more thinking happens, and more anxiety happens, and you just get into this nasty loop where it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's just like the snowball effect, and you don't know how to get it back under control. So it was where like last semester where I thought like everything was going pretty well. I was doing yoga a lot, like had it fairly under control and could manage it a lot. And then this semester came along that I thought was going to be much easier, a lot less anxiety and everything else. And nope, not the case in the slightest.
And that's so like so much more common than it should be.
Yeah,
when you're
absolutely,
you know, and it's so funny because like I wonder if it has to do with your head feeling like it's like you let go a little bit. You give yourself a little bit of slack. You give yourself a little bit of slack, and then your brain turns around and slaps you in the face.
Absolutely, 100%. It's just like, no, you did that wrong. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm going to have to torture you now.
Yes, exactly. Torture you and everything you think about.
Yeah.
Literally.
Literally. I know. Cruel.
Yeah, it is. It's a mean thing.
It's a mean thing. The older I get, the more I realize that it's just, there are like these answers that I thought I had are not applicable anymore.
No, it's always changing.
It's always changing. Yeah. And sometimes like days like today, I don't know, I'm in a bit of a frustrated mood today. Fair. I'm just kind of like, some of that's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. And so days like today, I'm like, that's just stupid and wrong. But then other days, most days, I'm like, oh, what a relief. I don't have to have it figured out, and it's all okay. But sometimes I just want to have an answer. You know, that'd be kind of nice.
Yeah, sometimes it would be very nice to have an answer, like the switch to just turn off the anxiety, or for the people that could just flick off their depression or whatever else it may be. Yes. It's just like, no, not today. but unfortunately, the days that you work the hardest for it not to be are the days that it comes out the most.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Like, what is that?
I don't know. That's a hard thing to deal with, for sure.
It's a hard thing to deal with. And it's like, I was listening to this podcast today by Jordan Peterson. Okay. Some people don't like him because apparently he's sexist. Okay. I haven't heard anything that sounded sexist, but maybe I just haven't heard the right stuff. Anyway. Fair. That aside, there can be some things that I might not agree with. However, it doesn't mean he doesn't make excellent points sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Like, there's some things that you're like, wow, that's questionable. Brush that off. But then there's other things that are really insightful and may help. Yes. It may be that one thing that changes your day. Whatever it may be. Exactly. And that's more than enough for me.
Me too. If I'm looking, like, as a side note, if I'm going to spend my time looking for a person who's quote right in everything, good luck. Before I can listen to them, I'm gonna be a very stupid person. Yeah. So anyway, Jordan Peterson, and he was just saying, like, he was kind of approaching depression, and I believe he's a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I don't know which one, but he was just saying, like, okay, you have depression. We don't know what the cause of this is yet. We don't know if it's circumstances or if it's a chemical imbalance in your brain. But either way, if you have access to medication that could potentially help you feel better so that you can see clearer and deal with the issues that might be the root cause of your actual depression, and then maybe you can go off medication again later. Yeah. Like, why wouldn't you go on medication? Yeah. And I found that so encouraging because I'm on medication, and sometimes I can feel so discouraged about it because it's like, I'm just broken.
No, absolutely not. Because I feel like so many people have it that may have been like me, and they don't have it to an extreme. So they're like, well, no, that's not me. That's not what I have. And it's not like you're either on the bus or you're not. Like, there's no in between. Like, you're either like fully depressed, we'll call it, or you're not at all. Whereas like there could be things somewhere in the middle, a combination of things that could help you deal with however severe your anxiety or depression or whatever it may be, like some combination of it. Because not for everybody, medication might not be the issue or the solution, I should say. But for a
Yeah.
lot of people, it can at least help.
Right. Yes.
So why not try?
Why not give it a try?
Yeah.
And I mean, like, medication has helped me so much,
Yeah.
but it's not the only solution. Because, like, I'm on medication now.
Yeah.
And I still need to exercise every day. I need to, like, I have to get up really early so that I can have time to, like, just do, like, read, journal,
Yeah.
have, like,
The things that keep it
keep it at bay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I'm starting to think about, you know, how maybe diet can play into this. And then I just have bad days, which everybody just has bad days, but then I'll have like stretches of weeks still where I feel like I'm so low and I'm like, come on, this isn't supposed to happen anymore. I'm on medication.
Yeah.
But then I just kind of think, well, how much worse it would be if I was not on medication.
Yeah.
Like, so it's one of the steps to helping me.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't necessarily agree with the people that say, like, I guess one of the 3 routes you can do is where you just do it like purely deal with it purely like exercise and diet and everything else, or you go purely like the naturopathic way, or you go purely like medication way. If you have 3 routes, why not pick different things from all of them and hope that you get the best route? Like,
right?
Why not? If everything's out in front of you, why not try?
Why not?
And
just take everything that's available to you to help you out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of some people that only stick to one route, like they absolutely won't go the like medication way, and some people just don't see or immediately feel the benefit of the exercise, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's one thing that I've been lucky enough all along is I really latched on to like the yoga and the exercising the whole time, and that's kind of my way of dealing with it, or going out and going for hikes. So I've been lucky enough to really latch on to those like really healthy ways. Well, I don't want to say that because I don't want to make it sound like the other ways are unhealthy per se.
Right. I don't think that you're giving that impression.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Awesome. Just don't want to like discount other people and how they're dealing with it as well.
Yeah.
But I guess it would be the other ways that aren't healthy, like say whether it's just going out and drinking all the time or partying for any reason.
Yeah.
Or, well, for no reason, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
For any reason out there. Hey, it's Tuesday. It's Party Tuesday.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
Party on a Tuesday.
Yeah. So as opposed to dealing with it that kind of way, I've really latched on to the physical exercise side of it.
Things are healthy for your body and
Absolutely. That's been my way. But even over the last couple years, I'm starting to, I don't know that I'm fully, and for some reason it's a step for me to go to the medication route myself. I don't know. I guess it's just the societal norms, I guess. I don't know if that's just kind of like how I've been wired to think that that's kind of like a step to take. But for me, I'm not fully there yet, but it's definitely starting to like, maybe that would help. Because like, what would it be like if I just didn't feel anxious even for a week? I don't know.
Yeah, how nice would that be?
Yeah, it would be amazing.
It would be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead.
No.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I am, and I don't think I've been very secretive about this, but like, I am a huge advocate for medication.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that being said, like, I also am fully aware that it's not the right route for everybody, and like, and some people some people give it a try and it doesn't work for them, and like, and I'm open to that, but I would never, like, I just feel like people who are dealing with depression are already carrying enough difficulties that we don't need to be shaming them for either taking medication or not taking medication. It's
no, absolutely not.
The point is that you just need to take care of yourself and love yourself.
Yeah, whatever step it may be towards dealing with that.
Yes.
Or I guess helping yourself.
Yeah.
Then just take that.
Yeah.
However small of a step that may be, because even that small step can seem monumental when you're in the thick of it.
Yeah.
And dealing with it.
Absolutely.
that can be incredibly hard to do.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Like again, for me personally, going on medication was so
Huge
difficult.
step,
It was a
yeah.
huge step.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because it's almost, I'd imagine it would almost be like, kind of like no turning back almost.
Yes.
Like, once you're at that point, it's like, okay, like, I am officially depressed if I take if I take medication.
Officially acknowledging that this is a problem. Yes.
Absolutely.
And I'm one of those people. And like for me, I was just thinking like, I'm weak.
Yeah.
I can't do this on my own because
sure.
I'm weak. And so I have to go on medication, which is, that's not the truth. It's not the truth.
Not at all in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. But it totally feels that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And especially the way that some people kind of shame it, I guess.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. Like I've definitely, like I've had people that kind of reacted poorly towards me saying that I'm on medication, and it was definitely something that like it bothered me because it was kind of like, why does my going on medication offend you so much?
even before they get offended about it, why does it affect them?
Right. Like, how is that? Like,
in what way does your life collide with me being on medication? Other than right now, me being a better person because I'm on it.
me not smashing your
face.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because you can thank the medication.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's so funny.
In what way does that path cross?
Yeah, you make an excellent point. So I don't know why we give some of us I give myself a hard enough time about it. I don't need somebody else to give me a hard time.
Anybody who deals with depression, anxiety, any other mental illness, like, they give themselves more than enough shit on a daily basis. They don't need anything from anybody else. Right? That's for sure.
Right?
They have proven they are very capable of doing that all on their own.
All on their own. Completely self-sufficient.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're so right. Yeah. So like what then, okay, for you. So like you've been having some stuff with anxiety and that kind of thing. Can you do you feel like it is something that's tied back to anything in your past?
It's hard to pinpoint it because like I haven't necessarily had any like groundbreaking things like that I can fully point it on. But I know when I was younger, my brother, I actually have a twin brother.
What? Wait,
yeah.
Which one of you am I talking to right now?
No, we're fraternal, and he's a fair bit shorter than I am, so you'll definitely know the difference.
I didn't know. Wait, how many siblings do you have?
Just him. He's my only sibling. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Boom. Yeah, no, just casually drop that in there.
You just casually drop that in there. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, he me and him are fairly different. He had gone through some really shitty relationships by the time he was really young. He was in with one particular girl that was she was very mentally unhealthy herself. Like, she had a lot of mental illness, and not necessarily her fault. Her like home situation was not good in any way, shape, or form. But it kind of sent him down a path of a lot of anger towards everything. So like when I was growing up, there was a lot of him screaming and chucking things around the house, putting his fist through the wall, slamming doors, and everything else. Yeah, while we're going, and that all really came to a head in high school, I guess. So like a lot of high school is me trying to do my thing, go through school, a little bit of studying every now and again with between him having his moments, I guess. I don't want to make it sound like it's a bad thing, because he was dealing with it, and that's the only way he knew how at that point in time.
Well, yeah,
he's worked on it over time, and he's gotten a lot better at it now. That never happens anymore, but at the time it was just so overwhelming that he didn't have another way to deal with it. So I don't want to like shame that in any way, shape, or form. So I guess a lot of it will kind of loop back to some of that I haven't necessarily kind of dealt with fully, I guess, because I don't know how much I really fully talk about that and all that going on. Like, all my friends knew it was a thing because they'd hear it. Or for instance, like, my brother would be out in his truck screaming with his girlfriend, and my neighbors could hear it, and they'd text me. I'd be inside. They're like, "Is everything okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's just another day in the Gillis household." It's just what it is.
Yeah.
And it was hard, especially dealing with my parents, or just watching them go through it, because there was only one time that I heard my mom scream back at my brother, and it was like a very calculated thing to do it. Like, she kind of played him right into it and purposely screamed at him to get the reaction of basically getting him to, like, more or less leave the house and just kind of think about what he did. And then once he left and calmed down for a bit, he came back and was like, "Yeah, okay, I fucked up there." Like, that was on me. So that was about the only time that it wasn't like it was just them screaming back and forth at each other. It was them not letting him do something that he wanted to and then losing his mind.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I am too. I am very impressed. They are definitely role models, that's for sure. I don't know that I would have been able to.
I don't know. I don't know if I would have been able to either.
I don't know how either. Just have your son cursing and swearing at you and just being able to keep your cool.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
That's definitely a strength of character right
Yes.
there. Yeah.
So, I guess some of it would definitely come from that. I don't really know where all of it comes from entirely. Just kind of showed up and was like, "Hey, I'm here to ruin your day." And I'm like, "Awesome. What's up, friend? You're gonna stay a while, I guess." So I better learn to deal with you.
Oh my goodness.
So that, I don't fully know where that came from, other than something to do with that in a way, through different, just the couple, I don't know, I'd say 4 or 5 years of that, and dealing with different levels of anger on his part, I guess, and working through that. So, yeah, I don't know. It's hard.
I have another weird question for you.
Shoot.
Okay. You seem like just a very level-headed, even-tempered kind of person.
Uh-huh.
How often do you actually just like get angry?
I can count on one hand the amount of times I've like fully lost my mind. Like, I definitely get frustrated, no questions asked. And when I was at work, working in the summer, the last couple of summers, I would get like frustrated more often, but no times where it was like fully out of like control anger. Like, you just have to walk away. You're so mad. And you're just kind of like shaking. There's only been a few times where that's like fully happened, where I'm like really angry.
But wait, so you're saying really angry to the point of walking away, or really angry to the point of like losing it?
Losing it, yeah, losing it, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder sometimes how healthy that is. Like, if it's healthier than we give it credit for. Oh,
Depending on the method that you take it out in, I definitely think it is at times. Like, say if you're so angry to the point you just have to go somewheres and scream for a while.
Yeah.
Sure.
Go for it.
Scream away. Go ahead.
Yeah.
But the side that I think will be unhealthy is like when you can't control it and then you start hurting the ones you love, or just hurting random people, whatever it may be. Like, you just get into a fight with somebody or something. That's when I think that it takes the unhealthy turn.
Yeah.
But if you can find another non-destructive way of doing it, like not just running around punching holes in the walls everywhere, it's like, no. But I don't know, if you just have to scream for a little bit, like, sure, go for it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
I've screamed in pillows, I don't know how many times.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a very good way to go about doing it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Whatever you got to do to get through it.
Yeah. And like, I've had like with my kids, I'll have times where like I value being patient with my kids. And honestly, like I think that I'm pretty good at it. But sometimes I think that it's almost to a fault, because then it's like I'm not showing them that their behavior would naturally make a person frustrated. So like, you know,
Yeah.
sometimes it's like, and I think that could be true for the relationships that you have with anybody. Like sometimes it's just kind of like, okay, look, when you're going to behave this way, it's going to frustrate people.
Yeah.
Like, and so I wonder if there is a value to getting frustrated, and maybe not getting angry, like yelling or anything like that, but just showing frustration, just to kind of be like, look,
You got to cut it out.
you got to cut it out.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I can see where that, well, I can't see where that would come from. Don't have kids. So
But-
I don't fully know. But what I guess my parents had always said, like, whenever we were talking about, like, oh, this parent's doing this parent's doing that, they were kind of like, yeah, there's no real, like, right, wrong, or other way to do it. It's all just a different way of going about doing it. You know what I mean? Like, at the time, you're just trying to do what you may think is the best. For the most part. Like, obviously, there's some times where it's like, okay, no, that parent's doing that wrong. Like, they got to stop that right now. It's not healthy.
Right.
But for the most part, I think, like, they're trying to do the best under the circumstances that they're in. So, like you said, like, you have a kid tugging you in all different directions. Like, it's kind of hard to do what people would say is the right thing. Like, you probably just want to raise your arms up and start cursing.
Yeah.
Just be like, get away from me.
Don't touch me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's a hard one that I feel like a lot of people are hard on themselves in both. Like, I definitely see it in my friends and whatnot that are parents, but just in general, like, it's kind of, people try and put it to a black or white thing where there's so much gray in between.
Yes. We got to get more comfortable with the gray.
Yeah, you do. Big time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think showing other people, and I'm sorry, I keep bringing this back to kids,
Yeah.
but showing kids and other people that it's okay to kind of deal with the gray and then be like, oh, no, I did that wrong. It kind of helps them, like, be able to learn.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, like, they're not looking for someone to dictate to them what is right and wrong.
Yeah.
They're being willing to learn.
Absolutely. And it's the ability to, like, fail or lose and learn something from it. Because, say, for me going through engineering, I'm in my third year of classes, but fourth year of studies, because I had to take another year because I was just getting my ass handed to me. I was just getting beat around left, right, and center. It wasn't particularly fun for a while. And I ended up failing one of my Calculus 2 classes. And I was sitting in the exam about an hour and a half in, flipping through the pages like, yep, I'm seeing this class again. There is no way I'm passing this right now. I was like, all right, cool. Let's see what we're going to do today. Let's just get on damage control here and see how much I can do. But I had absolutely no question that I was going to see the class again. And sure enough, I took a victory lap.
I took a victory lap. I love that you refer to it that way. All right.
So, but all in all, that's one of the best things I've done all the way going through university, was taking that extra year and taking that time to grow and learn what I needed to do to succeed in school. Because had I not have, like, a lot of other people, they'd fail classes and they'd take summer classes and take extra course load to just try and push through. Had I done that, I almost guarantee I wouldn't still be in the program today. I almost guarantee I would have dropped out.
Wow.
And just from one class. It's only one. That's all.
Yeah.
But it's one of the best things that I've done, is just reducing the course load, taking it a bit slower, and really just kind of figuring out, like, okay, how can I do this? Like, how can I make this work for me?
I love that.
Not for how everybody else is expected to do it.
That shows such self-respect.
Yeah. Well, that took a while to get to, that's for sure. Because at first I was really ashamed of it, and it wasn't until, I don't even think it was the year after that I really started to realize it. I think it was the third year, when I expected to be miserable because all of my other friends that I had started with had gone, that I was like, no, this is actually a really good choice for me, because I started enjoying it again.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was being open to the idea of taking that fail and making something from it. Until seeing it as an opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of just getting down on it and be like, no, I'm dumb. Which I did do for a very long time. Absolutely. I was like, oh, God, I'm an idiot. I can't get anything right. And then it was actually in my third year, because second year still kind of, so I failed in first year, second semester. Second year was still kind of rocky for sure, but then it was when I was in a like much more reduced course load, and I had really gotten into like photography and some other healthy ways to kind of get that happiness back up, really. That's when things kind of started to come together, and I started doing fairly well. And there was like this one class that is known as like a really hard class. It's like, it's called Mechanics of Deformable Bodies. It sounds much fancier than it is. It's just things. It's just things bending and what happens in them.
Okay.
So, anyways, when I went into that class, I was like, I'm gonna kill this class. This is gonna be the class that I do well in. And sure enough, like I went in, studied, and then wrote the test, and like I just killed one of the midterms. And it was like, when I got it back, I was so pumped. I just had to go for a walk and take a little victory lap again for this, and just calm myself down, because it was so much more than just getting like a good mark on one test that wasn't even worth that much. It was like the thought that like I can do this.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and just have that feeling. So like however small that may be, there were all the little incremental wins while also taking other losses at the same time to like work the way up to like, yes, I can do this. I can make this work, and I can enjoy it. So I don't know, I guess I've just learned that definitely the hard way, that failing's a good thing. And getting knocked back.
I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like right now you're describing how success looks.
Yeah, in a way.
I mean, the mentality that comes like that goes with success.
Yeah, absolutely. Being
Like
able to
successful people
take the big.
they have this mentality.
I hope so. We'll
I
see.
think so. Like
We'll
I've
see.
had the privilege of talking with some people, like being able to talk to people who we would, by society standards, call successful. And they have that kind of mentality.
Yeah.
You've got to have a lot of non-wins.
Oh, absolutely.
Losses.
Yeah,
And that's
100%.
all part of it.
Yeah, I had plenty of failed midterms to get my way to that one good mark. I had tons of those for sure. There's no doubt about that. And that was to no fault of my own, and not knowing how to be able to get my anxiety under control to the point where I could study again. Because when you're, and I'm sure tons of people in university, or I don't know, just anything, like say if you're setting up to go do a bunch of tasks at the house that seems overwhelming, that you just get into like, oh my God, I have so much stuff to do. And then you get anxious about it. And then you think about like, oh, I have all these other things to do too. And then it's just that snowball effect that it just gets worse and worse and worse. And you just have to, you're crippled. You just can't do anything. And then you go to the point where over time I've learned that like for me, what works is I'm going to do this one task, and that's a win. Boom. Okay. Now I'm going to do this specific thing. Boom. Now I have a win. Instead of just looking at everything in one open area and trying, oh, I'm going to do a little bit of this. Oh, I'm going to do a little bit of that too. And just kind of really focus down and be like, okay, I'm going to do these things and these things only. Like I can't make time for these other things right now, and just work through it.
I love that.
It's a tricky thing, but that's kind of how I deal with it, I guess. Instead of looking at like a bunch of different aspects, you just kind of focus on one thing.
Yeah.
In that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that
Absolutely.
because it's kind of dethroning multitasking.
Yeah, I can't do that.
It's not a real thing.
No, it's not. Especially like in like small circumstances, I definitely can, but not in large.
No. I mean,
Like
it's not healthy, I don't think.
No, it's not at all. It's not at all. But like when you're, say, you're here, you have kids screaming, and you're trying to, I don't know, do anything in the house, anything of any kind.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to work.
It's not gonna work. You know, I hated making supper. Okay. This is going somewhere.
Okay.
For the longest time, for years, I hated making supper. And I thought that it was because I hated cooking. And it wasn't until recently that finally my kids got more independent that I realized I actually enjoy cooking quite a bit.
Yeah.
But the difference was, the reason why I hated cooking so much was because it forced me into a situation where I had to multitask because I had the kids. And I would have a child clinging to my legs and screaming the entire time that I was cooking.
I can't even imagine that.
And that's why I hated cooking.
Yeah, I believe it. I get stressed out enough when I'm just like cooking like normally because I'm like, oh, did I forget this? Oh, did I do that? Oh my God, did I forget this stuff? Like I can't do it. I have to set out my checklist. Like I said, like I have to go down and be like, yes, I added the pepper. Yes, I added the butter. Yes, I added this. Otherwise, I just get too confused and I just get out of it. And I'm just stressing out that I'm just an anxious mess again in the kitchen. I'm just losing my mind.
Yeah,
So
I know.
Yeah, totally. I don't know how you would possibly be able to do that with a kid clinging to your leg and not just. I'd set the house on fire myself. I'd forget the burner on and just.
Yeah.
It's already hard enough for me to do that on my own as it is, and that's just cooking for me.
I know, like things that kind of demand multitasking kind of make you go crazy. Make me go
absolutely.
crazy.
Yeah.
Make me go crazy.
Totally.
Yeah, even still. But I guess, I don't know, it's just kind of how life goes.
It is. It is. And especially now you're more and more demanded to multitask and do different things.
Right.
Yeah. Like you've always got your phone going off.
Yes.
And this person trying to talk to you or
Yes.
like, I mean, I know in school, most people have like a laptop, a phone. Some people have like an iPad as well. So you have like 3 different devices
Yes.
in front of you that are just like demanding your attention to them. And you can't do anything else but that.
Yeah. It's just, it gets you bumfuzzled.
That it does. That it does.
I love
That's
that
a good
word.
way to describe it.
I love that word.
That's awesome. I like it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Multitasking is the worst.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. And some people are good at it.
Some people.
To a degree.
Some people really do give the impression that they are good at it.
That's a good way to put that. Give the impression. I like that.
Thank you.
Because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Absolutely. Yeah, I like that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I want to give that illusion. No, I don't. I don't at all, not at all want to even give that illusion one day, because then it would be like making other people feel like they should be able to do that. And I don't want to make people feel like they should be able to do something.
Yeah, like they should or they have to.
Yeah. That's stupid.
Absolutely. It is.
Yeah.
Just do what works for you.
Yeah, do your thing.
Mm-hmm. Just do your thing. Be you.
Be you.
Do whatever you need to get through.
Yeah.
Get through life.
To get through life.
Yeah.
Like, be healthy and take care of yourself. Just take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Be
absolutely.
you. Take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So, Graeme, I like to ask everybody this.
Okay.
What does it look to you to be mentally healthy?
So I thought a lot about this.
Okay.
So I knew that this was coming.
Okay.
So it's kind of what I was talking about earlier. For me, it's some form of improving. And that doesn't always necessarily mean that you're moving forward either. Like you're going to have to take the steps back at some time and just kind of step back. But it's whatever that little, like I said, that little win. Like maybe it's getting that one thing off the checklist. Like maybe it's doing that load of wash that you've been putting off for 4 days now and you have no underwear left. Maybe like it can be anything that's tiny. Like maybe it's doing one more set at the gym, like whatever it may be, all those incremental wins that all add up to something bigger and give you both a sense of like fulfillment and happiness or pride, I guess.
Yeah. I like that.
So I think that's what it looks like to me.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
This is really nice.
It is. I was incredibly anxious and nervous. I was like, what the hell are we going to talk about for an hour? I don't know.
And all of a sudden, it's
and
just
here
like,
we are. An hour's just gone.
It's
amazing.
gone.
And the anxiety's gone with it as well as that time went on.
Woohoo!
I win.
Not
for
today.
Not today. Exactly.
Or not this hour anxiety, maybe.
Yeah, it could be. I know I've had that before.
Yeah, me too.
Go to yoga, feeling nice and zen. And the second you step outside of the studio, it's just like anxiety's just lurking there for you. And it's like, what's up, man? You thought I left, didn't you?
I know,
it's like, no. Damn. I knew you were coming back.
I know. It's not
hard.
It's not fair.
It's not fair, but
anxiety, not fair.
it's what you got to deal with.
Right? I know.
Everybody, I think, has some form.
I think so.
Whether it's mild depression, mild anxiety, anything else for that reason. Like, I think everybody's dealing with some form. Nor do I think I want to be like this perfect person. That sounds kind of boring to me.
Yeah, perfection.
Yeah, that's no fun.
That? It's no fun.
You don't have anything to work towards. You don't have any goals that you want to. Like you just don't have any wins.
You don't.
If you're perfect.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. If it's all wins, then it's not any wins.
Yeah, it's just normal.
It's just
and that's
normal.
just boring.
And then it's just boring. That was really good.
There you go.
That was really good. There you go.
I think I came up with that on my own. I don't know though. You never know. Like when you think you come up with something cool, and they're like, "Oh no, that was here," and you're like, "Oh man, I thought I was good."
I thought I came up with something brilliant.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, you know what? In this room, you are the first person to say that.
Cool.
I mean, since I've been living in this house, as far as I know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I just stole it from the ghost that's lurking here. They really just came in and
they just gave it to you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where that came from.
That's where that came from. Yeah, nothing's original.
No,
but
never.
What can you do?
Live with it.
If nothing's original, everything's original.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming out tonight.
Thank you for having me on. It was awesome.
We're going to have to do round 2 sometime.
I'd have to say so.
Okay, perfect.
Definitely.
Good. And to everybody who's listening, thank you so much for taking the time to listen this evening. And you make this happen, and we really appreciate it. And I just want you to know that wherever you are, remember, I'm sitting here loving you. So have a great night, morning, afternoon, evening, and I will be talking to you again soon. Bye.